Today on Keep Shooting Monday, my review of the Photo Plus Expo in New York City. Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. Welcome to Keep Shooting Monday number 42. You have 1 week left to submit your photos for the spring or fall photo contest. Make sure you get them posted up to the forum. And I think there's about 100 entries or something like that, or 100 posts on that thread. So that's really cool. Plenty of submissions to go through, which is awesome. You have a chance to win a t-shirt and some stickers and something else I was going to give away. I forget what it was. Oh, well. Yeah, so make sure that you submit those by Friday, this Friday at 5 p.m. That's November 1st at 5 p.m. They have to be in. Anything after that, they will not be included, and they will not be eligible to win, no matter how awesome the photo is, unfortunately. So this past Friday, I actually went up to the Photo Expo in New York. Overall, I thought it was kind of weak. The top three booths were Canon, Nikon, and Sony. For some reason, Canon had this huge booth, and I don't know how much money they must have paid for it, but it was bigger than everybody else's. But like a third of it was this private area that was all closed off. I don't know if they kept stock back there or what they did, but it looks like they had this huge area when you look at the map, but it was actually like a third of it, or at least a quarter of it, was completely closed off and private. So, the public area of Nikon and Canon were pretty similar. The next big booth, I'm trying to remember who that was. I guess it was Sony had the other nice big booth, and plenty of area and speakers and all that stuff. But next thing I thought I would mention is Adobe didn't have a booth. They had speakers there, but that's it. You would think that one of the major players in software would have a booth at the biggest one on the East Coast, biggest photo expo on the East Coast, but again, for some reason they didn't. Another shout out for NPS, Nikon Professional Services. Thank you very much for cleaning the sensor on my camera. I do appreciate that. If you're an NPS member and you go to the show, they will clean one body sensor for free while you're there, which is pretty cool, and that's always appreciated. And they had 3 techs there and some sodas and a couple salespeople to answer questions. Although the question that I asked, they did not have an answer for, which kind of stunk. The question that I had was, what is the technical reason why the focus points are on the middle of the frame and not on the outside of the frame, like in an FX camera and a full frame camera? You have a lot of area around the outside that's missing. I don't know why that is. I'd love to hear it if someone else would know what the answer to that question is. But so far, I haven't found the answer. But it would be nice to have focus points around the outside. Maybe not all the way to the edges, but a lot more of that, probably 25% of the sensor area around the outside would be nice to have some focus point sensors in there. As I was walking around, I also would listen to a speaker here and there at the Nikon booth, at the Canon booth, at some of the other ones, and they just didn't wow me. They were just kind of bland and weak. Didn't have a lot of wow factor to any of their images, and their stories weren't great. This one lady, I don't know what she did. I guess she's some kind of like a music photographer. Her images just seemed dated, and they didn't seem like they were new and wow. And I don't know that they really fit at this type of a convention. Some people might be interested in the story behind a lot of those photos, but I don't think this was the right audience for a lot of those speakers. They're pushing their cool pics a lot, and I understand that. You want to get photographers to buy another one of the cameras, and yeah, you can create some awesome images with a Coolpix camera. But I don't know, it just seemed weak. And then there was this other thing. I was walking by this one booth and just kind of half listening, and I look at the photo this lady had on the screen, and it was similar to this one here, where it was a tungsten light or a tungsten white balance with an indoor shot, and then they had a little bit of flash on the person's face. Well, she was remarking how if you put a filter on, then you'll end up with a better balance on the flash, that is. But what happened was she actually said that, oh, well, do you see how let me say this right. Did you see how magenta this photo is and how it needs to be adjusted with this other filter? And you're wrong. It's actually cyan that the photo is. It's not this photo, but it was one similar to it. Since I don't know what the actual photo was, I don't even know her name. But if you're speaking, if you're trying to teach, you need to know your color, you need to know your exposure, you need to know your equipment. And it was, I stopped and I actually listened to her for a couple minutes, and it was clear that she really did not know what she was talking about. She just didn't misspeak at that one point. She really did not know what she was talking about when it came to white balance and filters and indoor flash. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, are you serious? Are you, this, not even going to say the name of the booth that actually had her there speaking, because that's pretty sad too. I was just dumbfounded at how bad it was, and some of the lack of knowledge there. I thought that some of the speakers, the other speakers, the paid ones, seemed to be like a pretty good lineup. Obviously, I didn't go to any of those and check them out or pay for any of those. But what was on the show floor wasn't up to snuff in my mind. Couple things that I learned at the show. Number one, it is pronounced Manfrotto. That is the proper pronunciation for the tripod and light stand company, Manfrotto. One other thing that I learned from Julianne, I forget her last name, Koff or something like that. Sorry, Julianne. Anyway, I learned that all of the Lightroom adjustments and masks are actually calculated at the same time. So if you take an image like this one and you have multiple masks or you have a lot of things going on, everything is calculated at once, so you're not going to lose any quality by doing that. All right, so that I thought was pretty cool. Think Tank has some new products out already. The Turnstile bag and also this City Walker style bags are great for 4/3 shooters or smaller DSLR shooters, super lightweight. A lot easier to carry all day long. They also have a new company called Mindshift Gear, and that's for taking your gear out on a hike. So if you need a single bag that you want to carry a camera and maybe a couple lenses in, as well as the stuff that you need for the day, like your clothes and your food and all that stuff, you can carry that all in one rig. They're super lightweight, once again, but you can get plenty of stuff in there. Great for a day hike or an overnight hike, that kind of thing. And full of really good ideas from Think Tank Photo. I also got to meet with Danny from Three Legged Thing. This guy is the funniest dude you have ever met in your life. He actually is a comedian in a past life. God, this guy is so funny. He always comes up with something, some kind of a comment. And the other cool thing about him is he has that kind of raw humor. He's English, so that means that he's not very... I don't know what the word is. He doesn't have much of a filter, which is actually pretty cool. Makes him even funnier. They name all their products after famous people, and so they had this new thing called the Nicholas, as in cage, because it's a camera cage. And basically what it does is when you have your camera upside down, like this photo here, you have your camera hanging upside down for macro work or for some situations if you need a lower angle like that, then typically you'd have the camera upside down. But if you use this cage, there's all kinds of mounts and things on it and spots where you can turn stuff around. And it's actually a really cool idea. And so it's not something that they have out yet, but it will be coming soon. You can use it not only for your macro work, but also for video if you want to just take it and kind of hold it as a cage on the outside. I forget the other products that are out there, their names. But this thing looks pretty cool. You can control it and get rid of some of the camera shake by having that little wider system there. And it also seems like it's going to be pretty inexpensive, which is awesome. One other cool thing that I didn't know about Three-Legged Thing is they have a global warranty on all their products. So no matter where you are, if your product is still under warranty, they will take care of you. They're actually dealing with someone while I was there going over a product that had some problems. And it was nice to see that they say, don't worry about it. We'll send you a new one out and take care of it. That's pretty cool that they're able to just do that and take care of it and be done. I also had the pleasure of talking to the guys from Black Rapid. They have some new stuff coming down the pipeline. I gave them some suggestions of some things that I would love to see, and I would love to see those things come to fruition one of these days. Also, a little birdie told me that they sold over 250,000 straps. That is a huge number of straps. It's obviously the most popular one out there. So check out the Black Rapid strap. If you'd like to pick one up, you could do so with this link right here. Couple other products I came away with. First are some samples from Museo. They have, at the show, they had a lot of really nice samples of their printer paper. So if you print your own photos with your inkjet printer, with your Canon or your Epson printer, it's some real nice samples and also some books that showed you the different kinds of papers that they had. And but I got a couple nice samples. I'm going to try them out, see if they're any good. I usually use the Epson paper, but I'm going to try this out and see if I like it. I definitely want to try out some of the rags and some things that they have, more of a fine art paper. I don't print a whole lot on that fine art stuff, but I definitely want to try it out. One other thing I bought, which I didn't think I was going to, but I ended up buying one, called a trigger trap. These guys are also English from Great Britain, and basically what you do is you connect it to your camera, and then you connect this end to your iPhone or your Android phone or an iPad or a tablet. You get a free app, and then you can trigger it from all kinds of different ways. I don't know if it lists it on here, all the different ways. Time-lapse, cable release, bulb, ramping, HDR, star trail, and they also talked about a timer and what else was there were on there? He said vibration. So there were a number of different ways that you can trigger your camera with this device. There's some other new products. Another one that's over in Kickstarter right now that they're working on once again. So some really cool stuff from companies, and I think that's going to be a lot of the future, which is including our mobile phones and our mobile devices into that long-term, camera solution. I think those two fields are really going to merge a little bit and should make us the benefactors of that. So a couple of people asked me to ask some questions while I was at the show. The first one from Hector, Quantum Q flashes. I don't see anything really new from Quantum. Looked like it was the same products that they had out last year. Walked by the booth, listened to the guy for a minute. Everything seemed pretty kind of status quo. Glad to see that they were there, unlike some of the other companies like Hasselblad. I didn't see Hasselblad there. I think there was a small Zeiss booth, which someone else, Jose, asked me to go and look at. I don't remember seeing them there though. If they did, it was a real small booth, and it wasn't anything spectacular. You would think that a company like that would want to make a little bit bigger booth and a little bit bigger presentation, like Epson. They had a real nice booth, and Olympus amazingly had a decent sized booth, but with some products to show and all that stuff. Epson had a lot of stuff. They were really pushing their printers, a big, huge printing area. They had all their new systems. They had the new, I think it's the 9890, which is a 44-inch printer with 10 different color inks. That's pretty awesome. The cool thing about that is that now you have a better quality reds in the brand new printers because you have that extra color, which make a better red. And then Chuck asked me about the trigger trap, which, sorry Chuck, I did not have a chance to try this thing out yet, but I will be doing so in a future video. Lance asked me what camera I took with me. I took my D3S and a 50mm lens, and that was it. Took the body because I wanted to get it cleaned, and then the lens because I wanted something super lightweight. Didn't want to have to carry a bunch of weight around all day. In fact, I took all of my everything out of my Think Tank. What bag is that? I forget what it's called. Anyway, I took everything out of my Think Tank backpack and then only put the stuff back in that I really needed. and like the laptop came out. I put the iPad in, but left some other stuff that I knew I was not going to need, like hard drives and all that stuff. Left it out, left it at home. Didn't want to take it because I just didn't want all the extra weight. Last thing I thought I would share for this week is get out there with your camera and just wander around once in a while. I haven't done this in a while, but I did it when I was in New York City, took a couple of these photos, and just paying attention to what's going on. They're not great, but they're okay, they're fun. It's good to just look for light, look for lines, look for things that are going on, and just be able to just wander around and see it. I had a photo get away from me yesterday. I was out in the area shooting some fall nature kind of stuff, and there was this beautiful blue heron, and I missed it. Haven't even been able to edit it. I might take 5 minutes and see if I can edit it and recover any of it, but it was underexposed, and he just, as soon as I started to walk up and he could see me, he took off. And so I don't know if the photo is going to be any good, if it's salvageable yet, but I'll try it out. But point is, get out there, do something with it. Look for the light, look at different times of the day. Another tip that I have is if you need to learn your camera a little bit better, you find you're not doing very well with it, especially when shooting, say, sports or something like that, you find yourself chimping and look down at the camera to change some settings. What I recommend is taking the camera when you're sitting on the couch and you're watching TV at night. Take the camera, just take it out and play with it, and just work on your muscle memory as to where the buttons are. And maybe when there's a commercial that comes on, you take a couple pictures of the screen and play with your settings and make some changes, and see what's good and bad, and get used to it. Do a better job with that, and that will make a big difference in your photography. Just do that a few times. Maybe even do it once a week. Maybe you just leave the camera on the counter or on the coffee table all the time, and then you grab it when you're watching a TV show, or maybe after dinner or something like that. Play with it for a couple minutes. You'll get a lot better with it, and it'll make a big difference in your photography. So get out, check out some light, maybe check out some fall photos, do a couple more, get them posted up to the forum, or spring, of course, if you're on the lower hemisphere. They have to be in by this Friday at 5 p.m. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting.